Welcome to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.
Welcome to today's episode of the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. You may be thinking to yourself, well, this does not sound like Lee, because you're right. This is Jess Lejeune, his producer of the Sports Scouting Report podcast, filling in for Lee as he is out of town. But we do still have a great show for you today. And Lee is actually going to be heavily involved with this show. But before I go any further, I want to thank our three sponsors because really without them, we wouldn't be where we're at today. And that's John Harvey Toyota, Treads and Care Tire Company, and Medine's Collision Center. For today's show, and speaking to that topic, Lee went on the road to Natchitoches, where he stopped by French Market Express. And I tell you, I've been there before with Lee, as we've done a lot of photo shoots, cover shoots in the past. And boy, they have some really good breakfast there at French Market Express. So anytime you're in Natchitoches, make sure to stop by there, French Market Express. They got some great food, some great meat pies, some great breakfasts over there. So if you're anywhere in town in Natchitoches, that's definitely a place to stop by. While we was there at French Market Express, he interviewed Manny High School head football coach Jess Curtis, and man, what a job he has done with this program over the last 11 years. They won the state championship last year. He's already won another state championship a couple years prior to that. And boy, he's got himself a really good football player. And it's actually his nephew, Tackett Curtis. He is one of the most sought out after players in recruiting for the class of 2023 nationally. He's been receiving offers from pretty much everybody that you can think of as far as Power 5 schools. And Lee got a chance to sit down and talk to both Coach Curtis and his nephew, Tackett, about a lot of topics. And we'll have the whole interview for you here today for the Sports Scouting Report podcast. And before I go into the interview, first of all, when Lee did the last episode, it was by the time he did the episode, news just came out with Trevante Citizen, who is a running back class of 2022 for Lake Charles Prep, plays running back for the Trailblazers, and is one of the highly recruited running backs in a very deep running back group in Louisiana. And Lee has always been very high on him as far as maybe the best back, power back, big back with speed type of guy that can get you a lot of carries. He's one of your old school type of running backs out there, big, strong, fast, has great top end speed, and Lee certainly loves him. Well, there were news the last time that we had the podcast that Trevante, he committed to LSU, and that is a big get for the Tigers because if you look at it, Le'Veon Moss, he already committed to Alabama, and who knows where Trevor Etienne's going to commit. This is a big year for running backs. And really, this is a position group of need in recruiting. If you look in the next couple of years, you have Tyron Davis-Price, John Emery. They're getting up there. And this is a very important year, especially as deep as the running back group is in high school football. That is huge for this team to get themselves at least one of these guys in this recruiting class. And this was such a big get for the LSU Tigers in grabbing Trevante Citizen, so far a commit to the Tigers for this upcoming class. Well, that's it for that. But we're going to move on into the interview. I'm sure that's what everybody was wanting to hear. Lee talk to Coach Curtis from Manny High School, as well as his nephew, Tackett Curtis. Tackett, man, we can say about him, he is only going to be a junior coming up. He still has another year after this year, and he's actually going to be playing quarterback this year. He's being recruited as a linebacker / safety type. He's been received over 41 offers so far, and he's only going into his junior year, which is pretty insane and pretty impressive. But this is going to be Lee's interview here today. This is when he stopped by at French Market Express, and here he is with Manny High School head football coach Jess Curtis, his nephew, one of the highly recruited players in the country in Tackett Curtis. And also joining the interview is Troy Henderson, a Manny graduate, and he was the person responsible for helping us set this all up at French Market Express. We can't appreciate Troy even more than setting this up and giving Lee the opportunity to set this interview and get it done. But this is the first segment. This is Lee Brecheen with Coach Jess Curtis and his nephew, Tackett Curtis. It's a great interview. Check it out.
All right, we're in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and I'm proud to say I want to give my boys some plugs. It's French Market Express, It's the most popular gas station in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Souvenirs, gas. I come here and eat breakfast all the time when I go to Shreveport, when I'm coming back from Texas. Our guest today, heck, man, one of the best coaches in the state, Jess Curtis, state champions again, Coach.
I appreciate that.
And he was nice enough to bring his nephew, Hackett, who's only, how old are you now?
17.
You're only going to be a junior.
Yes, sir.
You know, you're so good, but I got to give your uncle the credit. 2 years ago, he told me, he said, I got a freshman coming up. And he didn't say it's my nephew.
That's right.
He said, I got a freshman coming up. He's going to be a great safety. You need to put him on the list. You need to get him out there, blah, blah, blah. And I said, all right. And then last year I watched a couple of games. And I'm like, man, he's legit. So then I call Jess and I said, Jess, that kid can play. He said, yeah, you know that's my nephew, right? I said, yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
So you're a 223 kid.
Yes, sir.
It's so easy to get caught up and say you're 222 because you look like you're ready to play D1 ball right now.
Yes, sir.
Jess, talk about your nephew, and we're going to talk about your team and everything. But, I mean, I'm looking at him right now. We're sitting 3 feet away. You're all a 6'2" and some change. You're 215.
Yes,
lean 215, and you're not stiff when you run. You hit people.
Yes, sir.
Which you can't coach that.
And that's right. And that's really what, Tackett's strong suit. He's an extremely bright kid, 4.0 type kid. And but he brings a physicality to the game of football. Football's became so spread and so tempo-based, and sometimes we kind of lose that physicality. And, the thing Tackett brings to the table is he runs so well. He understands the game, but he brings a physicality that coaches love to watch. And he's kind of, this new age, we're talking about the spread and the tempo.
4 wide, 5 wide.
That's right. And so you need guys. He's kind of like that new age linebacker. These linebackers now are really safeties.
Oh, yeah. Like Patrick Queen
that's
and
right.
guys like that.
And you look at Patrick Queen.
Clemson has a bunch of them.
Exactly right. And that's really why, he's blown up, as he's shown the ability to play back end. But a lot of people see him as that guy that can play either inside or outside, depending on if you're a 3-4, whatever you are, know. And, thing about Tackett, though, man, what's so fun about him is I just love the physicality because you can't – it's fun to watch. It takes over games. And, again, works extremely hard. And, him being my nephew, it's fun, because, again, I love all my players. And, again, to have one that's kin to me like that's a lot of fun. But to watch Tackett walk in as a freshman, and I was going to make sure he was the best guy before he gets out there. But, heck, as a freshman, he was 165 pounds laying the wood. And the coaches said, put him in.
Yeah.
And in the state championship game, heck, he had 16 tackles as a 165-pound freshman, So he's kind of grown to last year about 198. Now he's 215 as he continues to kind of grow into what he's going to be. But, we're proud of him. He works hard, does it the right way. His work ethic's contagious. And, he's got 2 more years to play.
What I like, too, Coach, about Tackett is that you don't need a lot more weight. You can just chisel your body from here on out.
Yes, sir.
You got 2 years left. 225 is perfect weight. You're 10 pounds away from that now.
Yes, sir.
And at 225, you can be a Mike, you can be an outside, you can be a buck linebacker, you can be a free safety, you can be a strong safety. You're like a coach's dream at 6'3", probably true by then, in 2 years.
Yes, sir.
That's what's been neat, Lee, too, going across, getting to meet people in the month of June is kind of seeing what their plan was for him, what their scheme, how he fit. Some saw him as the money backer, the Mike backer. Some saw him as an outside backer, field side, and the 3-4. Everybody had their kind of spill on what they thought he could be. But they like the fact he plays the back end, kind of like Brian Urlacher played free safety. Yeah. And then I'm not saying, but you know what I'm saying. Urlacher, Stelz, and then they made the natural progression, up into the box. And make no mistake, he loves the physicality of the box. So, I think that's a high ceiling for him at linebacker.
That's what Leron Landry did and Grant Delpit. They could come up, blitz, make a sack, play the run, guard the out pass, even take a deep post every now and then.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the team. Jess, you won your state championship, second one, which this one was really well earned.
That was big.
Y'all had some close calls prior to in between the 2 state titles.
Had a lot of near misses.
A lot of stuff to deal with, COVID, no spring practice. No spring practice for you.
Yes, sir.
How'd you do it, man? How'd the team do it? I mean,
just blessed, Lee, to have a great group of kids. I mean, to make it to the Dome the year before, not play well. I ran to a great Faraday team, and for them just to come back hungry, and no matter, them giving us an extra month. A lot of times, a lot of teams kind of lost their edge there by not, kind of giving them time.
Yeah.
Our kids want to know off time. They just kept grinding, and they were just so driven. And you talk about from 2014 to last year, we were in the semifinal every year but one. And we had some triple overtime losses.
Yeah.
It's just been fun with these guys because we're going to be in it every year. You need a little luck. You need to stay healthy. But it was great this year, especially having it in Natchitoches, which was really cool.
Yeah.
It was kind of a neat deal. We love going to New Orleans.
Drive for you.
That's right. We love going to New Orleans. You can't. I mean, that never gets old. But with it being in Natchitoches, it was cool that in that one time it was here, we got to play and we got to win it here, and so that's something we'll always remember. It's pretty special.
Well, you got a young D lineman at Texas right now.
That's right,
good.
Myron Warren. That's right.
Myron Warren. He stayed. He got out of the portal. I saw.
Yeah, that was good. That thing that you've talked about it before on your podcast. I don't think it's great for football. A lot of times kids hit a wall, and that's what football is. Adversity, and you have to fight through it and work hard. Maturity, and your time will come. And so I'm glad that he's stuck around, and he's gonna earn his playing time.
Warren's big now. Huh?
Yeah, they've kind of moved him inside and used his quickness. Yeah, he's big.
Maybe?
He's huge. Yeah, so I mean that's
from 240ish.
That's it. Yeah, that's right.
6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, so he's really quick and has a burst, and so that's what they're wanting. They want that inside guy that can have that can have that burst.
You know what I love about it? We've got Manny's head coach Jess Curtis and Tackett Curtis, his nephew, but you pound at people and you run the ball 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's going to happen downhill
That's
if
right.
your defense.
That's right.
But you're just pounding away.
Yeah,
and I mean that's hard to do when people know you're going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm. That's right, and that's the thing. It's kind of what we are. It's kind of like, everybody's got their little unique deal, and it kind of when you play us, you really have to switch gears from you're seeing a lot of spread now. It's like defensive coordinator he's going to have to really make sure he can align right because he better. I have great offensive coordinator in Tommy Hall. He's been a head coach over in Hemphill, Texas. And he does a great job of formation. And
Ben Wilkerson played there.
That's right. Ben sure did.
Yeah.
And so, just does a great job. That's kind of our deal. We feel like we could take over the games by getting, an 8-minute drive, very physical. And then our defense is complete opposite. We're designed to play those spread teams and play fast and blitz and play a lot of man and get you off the field quick. And so that's really what happens. They end up 3 and out. We get the ball and they see it again. They end the quarter. And it just then that coordinator has to start thinking, okay, I've got to find a way here. I can't go through. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's our style. It's kind of our deal. It's
y'all
a little
milk
different.
The clock.
We're physical, and that's what Lee. We just thought about that a couple. When we first came in there, how can we be good every year? And we can go spread. I got athletes, but I just felt like this is going to enable us. I always have tough, medium-sized linemen that
you don't
good
have
backs.
All-American
That's right. But boy,
if
I can get a tough kid, tough old country boy, come in there and he's going to pull and kick out, and I mean, you can be good, and that's what we've been. And
Coach, that's what Acadiana is.
That's it.
Haynesville.
Look at the state championship. I tell some of my fans because they want us to go and do that. Right. I said, well, did you go to the state championship game? Did you see Acadiana?
Yeah.
Did you see Karen Crow? Did you see these teams? And you saw Kinder. And it's it's pretty neat, and I just think it's our deal. When you see that you see Manny, it's going to be a fist fight, an ice bath game. So
it's like watching MMA.
That's it.
Well, we'll be right back with a Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. More with Lee, with both Coach Curtis and Tackett Curtis. We have a lot more to talk about. Stay here after this commercial break. You're listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. This is Jace Lejeune filling in today for Lee as he is out of town. Asked me to do him a solid here, so hopefully Lee appreciates it. But in our next segment, after talking about in the first segment, Lee wants to talk about the Coach Curtis, mostly about the running backs. You know how Manny's always been a traditional program when it comes to producing a lot of running backs over the years. Some of the best players to come out of this program in Manny High School. And also, Lee has a pretty solid comparison for Tackett Curtis and what his playing style, what he brings to the table. And he has a former LSU Tiger that he thinks a lot about when watching Tackett play. So check it out. Here is segment 2, more of the interview with Lee Brecheen, Coach Curtis, and Tackett.
And you always got 3 backs.
Yeah, we actually go with 2 backs. We have a wing.
You always have 3 stocky guys that can go.
We're going to have 3 to 4 to 5 backs that can go, and they're all kind of a little unique. Like London Williams is going to be my bell cow this year, and he may be one of the best backs I've ever had. He's kind of like he ran for 1,500 yards in a 2-back system with a short season.
Yeah.
And he's a state champion power lifter, set the record on the power clean. He's a 4.4 guy.
Biggest he's ever been.
That's right. I'm just saying that he's kind of like, I sit there and just kind of, people say, "Oh, you lost this one." Yeah. I'm like, you have no idea what's coming.
And then
we got
AJ Carter at McNeese.
AJ's at McNeese. He's at Arizona State. He's at McNeese now. We have a newcomer to our backfield that's going to wow some people. It's Jeremiah James, and he's going to be a special running back.
You had one last year that graduated.
That's right.
Where's he going, Coach?
ULL. Terence Williams. He's
big time.
He's going to ULL. I love Coach Napier and what they're doing there. And Terence has the size to play probably 4 or 5 positions. He could be that little H-back. He could be linebacker, could be running back, and tremendous kid. Kind of kids we've been winning state with. Guys like him and Cadillac. Cadillac's at Northwestern State now.
Yeah.
My best players, Lee, lead by example. They're my hardest workers. And so it kind of leads off to him. And they just keep passing it forward, Lee, and that's why we keep winning.
I'd love to be a quarterback in your system.
That's it.
Hand the ball off, maybe 3-4 times
and make a big play like Cadillac. Cadillac makes some big runs a game. He makes some big throws. Teams, like you said, they're going to run. Well, we break their back with a big throw, and so
stack them up and let's see.
That's it.
See what happens.
What you think? Fired up.
What you think of this interview, man?
I enjoy it. I'm listening. I'm learning. Why not that I need to learn
this? This is Troy Henderson for the audience. Troy Henderson.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
He runs this. Linda Henderson, his mama, is
yes,
the owner, and you like the owner too. But you're a Manny graduate.
I am a Manny graduate.
So it's a big deal for you.
This is fun for me. I'm enjoying listening to this.
Appreciate giving us the corporate office in the back to do the interview.
It was a little noisy up front.
And I'm not BSing. I'm not talking. I'm being honest about the breakfast here. If you're not from Natchitoches, you've got to eat breakfast at French Market Express.
Get you some meat pies for lunch.
Oh, and when you're coming from Baton Rouge or New Orleans or Lafayette or wherever in Texas, either way, just look for that Northwestern State exit sign. Going toward Northwestern, first major gas station on the right.
Great homemade pies as well. I'll grab me a pie every now and then. So.
Well, you should try that alligator po' boy on your way home.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Troy, best player to ever come out of Manny, in your opinion?
Well, I was best friends with a guy. I say best friend, really close with a guy named Leonard Hongo, a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I doubt he would be what you call the best because there's been a lot of good ones since. But he's the first name that comes to my mind. I just love that guy. He's just an amazing guy. And he's still around today. I think he may even helped you coach.
He was on my staff in my 2014 team. Yeah 2013. Good guy. He was a physical running back. Yeah, big guy.
He still owes me some money.
Who was the running back when Feaster was here that ran for 9,000 yards?
Darrell Williams?
Darnell
Williams.
5'8", 170 maybe?
Yeah, good player. And that's Jeremiah, our new running back's uncle. So it's kind of keeping it friend. That's it. Old. So that's one thing about Manny. We have those people. We have those college coaches come through. They always know that you can find some great DBs and running backs in Manny. And so
Tackett, you remind me of Craig Stelz.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I had a lot of coaches tell me that too.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Archbishop Rummel. I'm at Santa Maria High School. I'm old school. I like to go to the games and judge the talent. Highlight tapes, we even make them, but I'd rather be there. Craig has 22 tackles against Santa Maria. He had 9 knockouts, meaning he actually backed off to hurt him, but he took him out of the game. As a free safety, he was 6'2", about 205. I mean, just bowed up, talking to the quarterback before the snap. I mean, huffing and puffing like an MMA fighter, and was a heck of a safety at LSU. I think he played 10 years at LSU, so tough.
Played for the Bears, was a good player.
Bears a little bit. You remind me a lot of him, but you're bigger than him right now.
Yes, sir.
You're already 10 pounds heavier. You're about an inch taller.
Yeah, and it's been cool talking to these coaches, Lee. I've enjoyed it. Just kind of seeing, I enjoy seeing the different schemes, and I enjoy seeing what coaches all see something different.
Yeah.
You go talk to Stanford, and they think he can play the back end, as well as linebacker. And it's neat. You talk to OU, and OU likes him at that Mike backer. Wisconsin likes him at the field side 3-4.
What's LSU saying?
Yeah, just kind of, they still kind of want to just kind of see where he continues to grow and this and that. They just know that he's, we haven't, like I said, we haven't gone down there yet to really see what they would do with him. We just kind of been in talks with him, and they offered him, but the places he's gone, that's why it's so important to get to some of these places that you can't normally get to.
Right.
You go to Michigan, see Jim Harbaugh and their new staff, was very impressive. New NFL type defense, Baltimore Ravens, Coach McDonald's coming in, and I like that. I like to see the different schemes and see, and I like to see different pitches. It's kind of fun to see how these coaches, they all have a different pitch.
They're all different. Has
Terry
Bowden even called you?
Yes, sir.
Him? I'm working with them. Yeah. I'm like a liaison with their recruiting staff.
Oh, really?
And I met with Terry about 6 months ago. He's a good guy. I know he's rebuilding ULM, but tell me about. All right, let's cut the chase about LSU. The Louisiana fans listening. So you're living in Tiger Country even here, and
yes,
I live in Baton Rouge. I'm 7 minutes from Tiger Stadium, and obviously I'm grew up LSU, but I like UL, Tech, Northwestern, all the schools. You mentioned to me you grew up liking Alabama.
Yes, sir.
All right. But you do like LSU too, and obviously it's going to be, it's still early. You got 2 years left.
Yes, sir.
Are you the kind of young guy to commit early, or you want to play this thing out till you're a senior?
I want to let it play out and just kind of get these relationships going, all the coaches, and see who I'm really liking the most, and the different staffs and how they play out. Watched a few teams this year that I got my eyes on, and really the connections that I've been having with the different coaches, and when I got to go meet all these different schools and take that in, and kind of what's their motto and where they're going, where I see them in the future, and seeing who's going to be coaching me and developing me, and seeing where I'm going to be in the future. So
we'll be right back with the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. More with Lee Tackett and his uncle, Coach Jess Curtis, for Manny High School. When we come back, a lot more to discuss between the three of them. Of course, add in Troy Henderson as well. We got ourselves a pretty solid interview there. But more with the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. Stick around. There's more to come.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Madine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357.
Welcome back to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. And more on this interview as Tackett last year as a sophomore really helped the Tigers on their way to a second state championship. He would play more as a safety last year, but now he's going to play both sides of football. Lee was going to ask Tackett about his move to quarterback, and of course, more topics to discuss. Here's more from Lee's interview with both Tackett Curtis and Coach Jess Curtis from Manny High School.
And he'll have some official visits next year, and really probably around this time next year, he's going to probably have some clarity of where he wants going into his senior year after he's hit his, he's had a whole year to watch them, these people he's been talking to and developing relationships with, and then, he has those official visits in that summer. And then that's pretty much when a lot of my guys, they kind of, it's there. They know what they want and kind of put that there and then go about their senior year.
I'll tell you this. Go to an LSU game at night. Troy will back me on that.
Oh, yeah.
They get the full experience. Now there's going to be fans.
Yes, hopefully.
It's weird there was no fans last year for college ball. That juice wasn't there for the teams.
Yes, sir. I've been to a ton of LSU games.
You've been to a few?
Yes, sir.
But awesome. Don't go to the Alabama game in Alabama. Go to the LSU game like Florida. Florida's a good one.
Florida's a great one.
Florida's really mad at LSU.
Oh, yeah.
See that Tiger walk.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't like Cade York very much. Have you ever seen a 58-yard kick in the fog where the kicker couldn't see?
That was crazy, wasn't it? Yeah.
They asked Cade York, they're like, did you see? No, I just aimed it.
Yeah, I knew about where it was. Huh?
I couldn't kick a 25-yarder, and I was pretty good kicking in high school. But,
That's
man,
right.
58?
Yeah.
You know how far that is?
Yeah.
Can you kick and punt? You do everything else.
No, sir. I can't kick and punt. I could probably kick a field goal if you ask me
You
to.
can go
though,
tackle
so-
the returner,
That's
right?
right.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
So I'll take it. You do any return teams too?
Yes, sir. Punt return, kick return. Yes, sir.
Man. Any Wildcat quarterback in the future, or are you just going to stick to defense? And
Yes, sir. I'm playing quarterback this year. So
Yeah.
actually, both
Yeah,
sides.
that.
Yeah, we,
Yes, sir.
we lost Cadillac and we moved him
Yeah.
there, and we just like to have a guy, an athlete at that quarterback position.
Yeah.
We like to have a leader there, and
You're going to be
Yeah.
tough. for people.
Yes, sir.
it's not going to be fun to tackle him. You see
No.
Taysom Hill, that's what it looks like back there. So it's going to be fun.
You
know.
might invent another part of your game there.
That's
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah, it's fun. He's had a great spring and summer watching him. I mean, he gives us another, dimension. I mean, he can hand the ball off to those two studs behind our line. Our offensive line's going to be better
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
And then for him to be able to pull it, that's 215 pounds coming, and it's not going to be fun to get in front of.
Coach, talk about that O-line, because a lot of them, they're not D1 guys, but they need to be mentioned because they're tough kids.
Well,
Name your O-line.
yeah,
You got
yeah.
a few seniors coming back.
We do. We got a couple guys coming back, and Garrett Foster started for us last year. James Hickman, and Corey Jones was really good.
Corey's come on.
Corey's come on really good. So a lot of Southland schools are on him now. And then we had a kid move in from North Dakota. His dad's going to be coaching junior high for us, and it's Joe Cryer, and he's a sophomore. He's a 6'4", 270-pounder. Now he's going to have
He's a
Division
rare
I.
one.
He'll be Division I. He'll be like a Garrett Thomas for us. He's going to have Division I potential. So that's a pretty good O-line to put in front of these running backs I'm talking about,
Yeah.
and in front of my Taysom Hill clone here. And so we feel good about that. But the big thing is last year's defense was all sophomores and one freshman. So, Lee, I'm going to have this same defense for the next 2 years. I won't lose anybody off this defense here.
That's scary.
And that's crazy.
You can build your offense more now.
That's it. So that's what we're excited about, man,
Yeah.
is the fact that, I won with a bunch of babies sophomore, and they got better as a season. And then in the championship game, they really played their best game, 16-13 ball game.
I had a show last night at 8 o'clock, interview Randall Leggett, the head coach of St. Thomas Aquinas in Hammond. Their DB, Dancer, starts for the Vikings. Alexandria had
That's
D
right.
tackle, go to LSU. I said, Coach Leggett, would you like another timeout? Would you want the rules changed? Would you take another timeout if they change the rules?
Yeah, I would. I mean, as a coach, I like that. I'm kind of like a basketball coach sometimes.
Yeah.
My offensive coaches get mad at me. I'm a defensive
Well,
guy.
they get 10 seconds, 30 seconds,
that's right.
and a minute.
So I like to always use that as kind of a tempo change, I'm big at that,
Yeah.
especially with my defense. If I feel like the offense is kind of to give us a break, a breath, and
Yeah.
my coaches get so mad at me. But I kind of use it like a basketball coach would, to give a tempo change and give my defense a time to rest. So
Get 'em
I'd
all
love
in
to
line,
have another timeout.
Coach said it didn't matter, but I think
It does to me. I'd love to have another one.
halftime, I asked him too, is halftime long enough or too long? What's your team?
I think it's fine where it is,
Fine.
but heck, I'll take another 5 minutes to adjust. I love getting in there and adjusting. We do a great job of adjusting on both sides of the ball, and if you give us another 5 minutes, I'd love to do that too.
Pregame, would you want a longer pregame with team or a longer individual pregame?
Probably with team. Probably
With team,
Yeah,
y'all don't get long reps on
yeah.
team.
We don't.
Because
We
you go
don't. It's
team
real
after
quick.
individual.
It's real.
Yes,
It's
sir.
real quick.
It's
for
really
us.
fast.
So I'm fine as it is, but I'm always going to tell. Like last year when they gave us the extra month, a lot of people complained, and we looked at it as you're giving us 4 more weeks to get better. And kudos to my boys. They didn't want any time off. They wanted to keep grinding, so they're giving us 4 more weeks. Shame on them. And it's all about how you approach things,
Yeah.
and that's our way.
Is 10 days enough in spring?
I'd like to have 15. I really would. I like the old days.
I like the old days too.
I like the old days. I think spring's important. It's a time where you can really be physical, and you can really, once I get in the season, I'm thudding a lot because I don't want to lose somebody from Monday through Thursday. But you get in spring, you can it's important to find your guys, because
5 of those days are shells, so you only got 10 days to pass, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So it's on you quick, and but it is what it is. I'm just glad we get 10.
We'll be right back with a Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. This is so far a pretty interesting interview, an entertaining interview, but there's more to come. So more coming up with Lee as well as the rest of the Curtises. Stick around.
Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads and Care Tire Company located in Central. The number to call is 331-8144. Family owned and operated since 1971. That's Treads and Care Tire Company.
Welcome back to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. And boy, it was a great year for North Louisiana last year. You look at some of the teams that won state championships, of course, Manny High School, which this show is all about here today. But Oak Grove won a state title. Calvary won a state title. It was a pretty good year for North Louisiana. And so Lee is here to discuss with Coach Curtis about the talent in North Louisiana having a lot of success in Louisiana over the last couple of years. Of course, you know, when you're Manny High School and you're a 2A favorite, there's a lot of competition out there. When you are the defending state champion, there's a target on your back. And Lee also gets to ask Coach Curtis about the competition in Class 2A. So here it is, more on the interview with Lee and the Curtises.
I'm going to tell you, South Louisiana's hearing this, but all they hear is Manny, Haynesville, Ouachita Christian,
Right.
Now Calvary Baptist. I mean, it's just blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just 2A, 1A is killing it right now in North Louisiana.
Yes, sir. It's been good. You know, our buddies Oak Grove up top have done well,
Oak Grove's done
Calvary.
great.
And you know, we've been blessed to keep it rolling, and we take pride, represent our area. And
Logan Sport's good.
Logan, Coach McGee's a good friend of mine, does a tremendous job, you know, and I think we all take pride in kind of, you know, keeping our programs between the lines and having a chance every year. I think that's all you can really ask for as a program is when you're kind of, if you lose people, you can still keep your program close, and we've done that here, you know, and when you have the team, you want to get there to win it.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
Yeah.
who's the toughest non-district game coming up this year?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, our schedule, Lee, is crazy. Well, we're having to go to Palestine, Texas to scrimmage somebody. I mean, I've really struggled to find a scrimmage. We're gonna jamboree with 4A Leesville, and then we're gonna start the season with probably the best game in the state of Louisiana, Union and Manny. 3A favorite against
Union
the 2A.
Parish.
Yeah, Union Parish and Spadafora in Manny.
Right.
All right, then we're going to go play a series of 4As. We're going to play the Ritter 4A. We're going to play North DeSoto 4A. We're going to play Tioga, who was a quarterfinal 4A.
Yeah.
And then, so you take your pick, Lee. I mean, I hate to pick one. I'd probably say our friends Union that we have a blood feud
Trey
with.
Hawley.
You know, we have
I mean,
Trey
that's some
Hawley
good
with
highlights
one.
stopping
You know,
that
Coach
4-3 out.
Spadafora.
Yes, sir.
Talk about a great program. They're physical like us.
Huge
It's
on the
almost
line,
like looking
too.
at our brother in
Yeah,
the mirror.
yeah.
You know, and so we love that
You got
game.
Kenny at North DeSoto, a great quarterback
That's
to
it.
face.
So, I mean, we got a tough schedule.
Yeah.
But we're excited. We feel good about all those
Yeah.
games. We feel like it's going to be playoff caliber football, like a semifinal, quarterfinal feel. And those games will get us better. And then you
Yeah.
get into 2A action then, and you're going to be, you know.
Were you ready?
Let's go. And let's go. You know,
Yeah.
we're ready, you know.
Leesville has Caleb Bradshaw, who's a 4-time All-State.
Oh,
guy.
yeah. So I can
Running
say
back.
we're going to see some good players. We're going to help other teams get better because they're going to see a very physical football team. And so those games are great. Our fan base is excited because you buy season tickets, you're fixing to see some great games. I mean, I'm talking some great games, playoff games, really. You know, and so that's where we're at right now. Again,
I had a fan that wanted me to ask you. He's from Manny but lives in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
How many junior highs are you drawing from right now? Is it 1, 2?
well, we got
he wanted to know, is it just
yeah, what they have in
how's it set up?
the parish, we get our Manny kids, and it's all basketball schools in Sabine Parish, and so a kid can come to Manny. We don't get many because Sabine Parish is such a wonderful parish, and he knows this. It's a community driven parish, and so those people. It sounds good, but those people are going. It don't matter if they're 6'6" in Zawali, they're going to go play. They're going to be at Zawali. It's just you know. But every now and then we'll get a kid that can come because they don't offer football. And they have to sit out a year and that type stuff. But we, you know, that's the thing a lot of people like to point at us and throw. But it's really, to be honest with you, it's a lot of Manny boys, a lot of Manny-made kids.
That's good. That's good. I mean, Haynesville's like that.
Yeah,
You know, It's mostly Haynesville kids.
Yeah. And David Franklin does a great job. You know, just tremendous job.
I think it's an excellent thing that the other kids throughout the parish have an opportunity to go to Manny to play football since there's not an opportunity anywhere in the parish. I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, have a chance for 3 titles.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, we're excited, and that's our deal. You know, the kids are excited to try to make it a back-to-back type deal. You know, and I'm just blessed because these kids, you know, this whole summer it's been. Everybody's there every day. I know where they're at. If they're either on vacation, if they're in Manny, they're there. I don't have to chase kids down, and it's kind of been built over time. But it's so much fun to walk in there and see motivated kids, coach. It's player led. These kids are, and that's why we win. And these kids are. I mean, again, they're driven. They want to win another one. It's kind of and it's going to be tough. You got the meat Warriors out there. You got Kinder. You got Kinder coming back. You got Loreville.
Yeah, A-Meat's got their best team on paper back.
Oh yeah,
and they've had 20 state championship teams.
Oh yeah,
not that won it, but went to state championship.
We had a tremendous battle down there last year. So much fun. I mean, just so much respect for that program. Loreville, they've done a great job. Coach Martin done a great job. And then and then Kinder and our old buddies Brett Fuselier. You talking about our blood feud with them? I mean, it's. So there's several more teams in there. I mean, it's
first
fun.
Dome appearance.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like every time we both make it, it's and what was so cool. I know we've been rambling here, but the kids that played in this game this year, they were so excited because they grew up eating the nachos and stands watching that last one.
Yeah, they were like 10,
and so
11,
now they got to play in that.
You were one of them,
yes, sir. Yeah, he was on the sideline heading out water. And for them to be able to play in that rivalry, it meant a lot to Brett's kids and my kids. So hopefully we can make it Manny Kinder 4.
Troy Henderson, were you?
Earl Henderson.
Oh, yeah.
He was all-state quarterback 1964 for Kinder High School.
I didn't know that.
Come on. Yeah, he was.
Wow, that's crazy.
Huh? Yeah, that's my dad. It's pretty good. So it's fun with us and you guys. Of course, I'm a Manny fan. I grew up in Manny, born and raised in Manny. But, he's going to still be kind of a little bit – I think he tries to, he doesn't really care. But when the game starts,
that's tough,
he's
man.
a Kinder fan.
Yeah, man. That you respect their program. That K means just what RM means. It's like looking our brother in the mirror, and that's why our games are so tight because they know us so well and we know them so well. So it's really, who's going to make the most mistakes, and we try to keep those to a minimum.
We're going to take a break with the Sports Scouting Report podcast coming up. Tackett talks about his upcoming goals for Manny High School for the next 2 years and so much more here at the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.
Looking for a used car? Harvey Autos has 3 dealerships, which means 3 times the used vehicles. They've got everything from fuel-efficient compacts to luxury models, even hybrids, and certified pre-owned with a warranty. Check out John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, or Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City.
Welcome back to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. And coming up, Tackett talks about his upcoming goals for the Manny Tigers. It's pretty crazy that he still has 2 more years left of eligibility before he picks the college of his choosing. And then also, Jess talks about his favorite college coaches. I mean, there's a whole lot of great college coaches out there in Division I. And then finally, for this segment, Tackett talks about his relationship with LSU linebacker coach Blake Baker. So here is more of the interview for Lee Brecheen along with Tackett Curtis and his uncle, Jess Curtis.
Look, because of COVID, we've had some magazines left, and I'm going to give you a bunch for the team.
Appreciate that.
It's the 220, but it's got the Manny preview in it and all the teams, but I want to, before you leave, get those to you. Tell me, Tackett, what is your goal next 2 years as a player to help your team keep this going?
Just make the team better and be the best version of myself and just keep getting better and keep working and making the team better. Have a great season, go undefeated, win state the next 2 years. So that's
you got a cool name, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's not a common name. It's a real neat name.
It's a family name. That's my middle name, too.
Is it?
It's his middle name, actually. It's kind of a family name that a lot of us have in my family. And his, he just uses it as his first name. So but again, it has a little meaning to us.
Well, you made LSU fans' day by saying that you definitely like LSU, been to a few games already. That's all they need to hear.
Yes, sir.
They'll be partying in the streets here and there. Definitely would love to see you wear purple and gold because, I'm a Louisiana guy, but wherever you go, it'd be great.
That's right. That's all about the right fit, and that's the whole deal. That's all we're looking for.
You've had 2 go to Texas.
That's right. We have. It's all about the right fit. There's a lot of great coaches out there, man. A lot of great coaches.
I got to ask you this, and this is just a great question for you. Give me 3 college coaches. You don't have to answer right away that you think, or they just have it right now.
I mean, you look at the Dabo Swinney's of the world. I mean, you have to, and you Nick Sabans. Those guys are always going to be your first two probably.
Yeah.
They're the two hottest names out there. I think Kirby Smart does a tremendous job. And I'll tell you somebody I like. It doesn't get. I think Jim Harbaugh is a good coach. I think he's had a hard time with Ohio State, like LSU has with Alabama for years. Until they got off the snide there. I think Jim Harbaugh is a heck of a coach. So there's a lot of good ones out there, man. And I've enjoyed getting to meet them. Getting to meet Clay Helton at USC. And Coach Franklin at Penn State. He went up there. So there's a lot. Lee, there's some great. You put me on the spot there with that one. But I think Sweeney and Saban are easy to say. Those
and
two.
LSU is doing better.
And Orgeron's perfect for LSU. I mean, he's the perfect guy for LSU. I mean, he's what they embody. Makes their team have that same swagger and that toughness. And so Ed does a great job down there. And again, I always enjoy him and his way and. His tough approach and that gravel voice. There's just great coaches across this.
Tackett, what do you think of Blake Baker, LSU linebackers coach?
Yes, sir. I've enjoyed talking with him. So I've gotten to talk with him a few times about what he kind of sees in me and what he envisions for me playing for them. And so I've really enjoyed it.
I remember when he was recruited out of Houston, he couldn't get a D1 offer. He was 5'10". And he had like 500 tackles in Texas. He was from like Katy or one of those schools. Mm-hmm. And I remember on his bio, Dream School LSU. Mm-hmm. And then, turn the clock ahead. He plays at Tulane, all conference 4 times, 5'10", 220, right? Kind of guys you had on your high school team, just tough guys. Mm-hmm. Then he goes to Tech as a coach. And Miami Hurricanes. And then LSU says, "Do you want the job?" And he's like, "Yes," because he was a childhood fan of LSU. But that's just some unique stuff. And then he's recruiting you now. So it's interesting how that all works out. 5'10", sometimes Sam Mills. You got some guys that they're different.
They are.
Devin White's not 6'2". He's 5'11".
It's the new linebacker. I mean, it's really what it is, not Patrick Queen. He's, like you say,
6 foot.
I mean, and he's tremendous. That's what Michigan basically told us with trying. I mean, the guy that came from Baltimore, and he was like, "We think you're like Patrick Queen." That's huge praise right there.
Yeah.
You go and Wisconsin. Coach Chris is one of those I should have put on that list. You talk about a guy that's consistently going to the Rose Bowl. And they're it's just so cool.
And Stanford does a great job not getting the elite and always competing.
That's it.
Coach Anderson's been there for 20 years. Have you talked to Coach Anderson?
Yeah. Tackett went out there with the family and was blown away.
Isn't it crazy how
Coach Stanton.
that school is?
Yes, sir. It's a nice place.
You have to have a 4.0 to get in as a student.
Yeah.
You got to be like a 32 or 30. As a football player, you can get in with a lower ACT, but I think the last 10 years they lowered their ACT.
Yeah,
it used to be like a 28 to get in.
That's right.
But I think ever since they lowered it, Georgia Tech, them and Duke, they've been more competitive.
Right, and they have to be. It's a difference. That's what's been so cool about this summer. Just Stanford having to recruit the whole country. They can't just stay in one pocket like some of these schools can. But you put me on the spot asking me about those coaches because you talk about some good ones, man. We saw about a dozen of some of the best this year, didn't we, Tackett?
Yes,
going
sir.
across the country, man. And just
Y'all went to Penn State?
with James Frank.
I went to State College a couple of times.
Coach Frank,
Yes,
they
sir.
were sitting on the front doorstep when he came in. I mean, it's just so cool to see a difference. Harbaugh with us all day. Wisconsin, we really like Wisconsin.
I like Harbaugh because he's deep.
Yeah.
He's really into it.
He is, man. He's just he's that same guy you
He's a
see.
Saban
Energy
type guy.
and man, we really liked him and really liked. Like I said, we really liked our Wisconsin visit with
What about Lane
those
Kiffin?
guys.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, we haven't been. It has been to Ole Miss yet. They offered it, and again, there's places like Oregon and Florida, places that have offered that Auburn that he wants to get to. That he just
Man,
just
hit them
simply-
all. I mean,
Yeah, he just wants to because again, Lee, this is what's important, and again, I have to tell people that all the time. Thing is, he's got to make a decision based on what fits him, and regardless really what logo, he's really looking for what fits him and the right fit. I think he's done a great job of really just listening to coaches and seeing their approach and then watching them this fall and see how they do and then start developing on September. They can start really contacting.
is that Trojans I see on your keys?
Yeah, we went out there and visited them. Yeah, my son, my son graduated.
SC.
My son graduated at USC. So
Come on.
yeah.
I
So
didn't know that.
Yeah. So again, it's and that's the thing. So with him, it's just beginning.
Hey, that coach has to, and I don't mean to put that coach on the spot,
Yeah.
but
they're so pressured like LSU and Alabama and Notre Dame. If he don't win this year, he's kind of –
it's the same thing because they expect national championships at USC.
Yeah.
They expect them at Michigan. They expect them at these places. And really that's where you
their
want
quarterback
that.
Slovis is good, isn't he?
He's very good.
Whew,
I mean, and they've really got some great people. They got the Foreman kid.
Yeah.
And then they've had a couple come home the last couple of weeks, a couple 5-stars. So, but it's just neat to kind of see that and see how chips fall. And he's just looking for the right fit, man. And I think he's done it the right way by meeting as many as he could and letting everybody have an opportunity and just kind of see, where this thing goes, especially when they can start really talking to him in September.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. We have 3 more segments left to go here. The Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. More with Troy Henderson, Jess Curtis, Tackett Curtis, the whole Manny gang, it seems like. More for the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, you've got to go to Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Family owned since the 1960s.
Welcome back to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. And now Troy gets asked a question coming up. Troy Henderson, who allowed us to have the interview at French Market Express. And by the way, I've been there with Lee a couple of times. And, man, they do have some great breakfast, some good meat pies. So, and Natchitoches is known for their meat pies. So anytime you're around the Natchitoches area, you have to stop by. It'd be a good place to stop and get some gas and get some grub along the way. But here is Troy Henderson along with Lee and the rest of the Manny gang about, Jess Curtis. He built a powerful program here at Manny High School, and he talks about some of the influences that helped Coach Curtis build Manny to what it is today.
This thing's just starting. He's got 2 more years, and we're excited. There's no doors closed, right now.
Did y'all go to UCLA 5 minutes away?
No, we did. We hit USC. He went to Stanford and USC that weekend. Because the thing about Tackett, which is so unique too, he don't want to miss workouts. So our workouts, we go Monday through Thursday. And on Thursday, he's going, and after lunch, he's catching that plane out of Houston, and he's going to use his weekend to visit. Now, he did take 1 week that was going to be his beach week, and he hit a bunch of schools instead of go to Destin this time. But that's what I appreciate about him, and a lot of my kids I've had in the past, they understand how important they are, and they're happy where they are right now, where their feet are. They want to win state championships and also get ready for their future. So, tip of the hat.
You got young kids 8 years old wanting to sign up right now.
I get fired up.
It's like the Gipper speech, man. You in the locker room there.
I get fired up talking about my kids, man. I love them.
They might move to Manny and come play.
They're like my boys, man.
Tackett, what do you bench press?
I just hit about 320 yesterday on Winter at Max. Yes, sir.
You got 2 years of high school.
That's pretty impressive.
Yes, sir.
So you definitely have a shot at 405, 410.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean,
That's not normal. That's not norm for a DB.
No, it's not normal for a kid, with 2 more years left.
But you like to lift weights.
He does.
Yes, sir, all the time.
That's a big thing about his game, too. You asked me what I liked about him. Is the fact is you're going to find Tackett. He's either going to be recovering with a good nap, or he's going to be eating something.
Good luck tackling you.
Yeah. Or he's going to be in that weight room.
There's going to be little corners come up, and they're just going to fall off your forearm when they hit you.
I don't know how many times I've gone by that school and I see that white sports car out there. I go in there and I hear the music bumping, and he's in there getting a good lift, And again, that's what he enjoys, and he's locked in, and again, he learned that from some great players in front of him, and again, he's paying that forward, and the young guys are going to continue to do that, and we got some more coming.
At Stanford season you, John Lynch.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
And that's actually what Brett Fuselier said.
Remember John Lynch, Troy?
That's what my buddy Brett from Kinder said. Leading into things, he's like, "Dang, y'all got John Lynch playing."
John Lynch is okay. Is this John's son?
So that's kind of fun. I'm gonna tell you before we go too, is I have a 2024 kid, Tylen Singleton. He's a 6'2" kid. He got the pick late in the game. He's a freshman last year, so he's 2024. And he's got an Arkansas, Mississippi State offer already. That's 2 SEC schools for a kid going into his sophomore year.
You got to put him under your wing now.
And they really do. They're like two Doberman pinchers back there. How'd you like to be going against those guys in your secondary?
Rockwaller and a Doberman pitcher.
That's what's in my secondary, and that's kind of rare for a 2A team to have those guys. But they kind of push each other, and it's fun. It's fun to watch. They both have unique skill sets, and Tylen Singleton will be a kid that is going to have every opportunity I think at Tackett has. I think London's going to be a Southland Conference or better player. ULL teams like that are looking at him. Corey Jones, and then the Joe Cryer kid's going to be a D1 prospect, and we have other kids pushing to be, and so that's what hard work does. You get in the weight room, you work hard, you show up to workouts, and you get better, and before you know it, you have opportunities. And
we sent an email out to 50,000 people seeing if they had questions for y'all today, and there was a female, Jennifer, from Houghton, wanted to know, do y'all fish Toledo Bend since you live so close? Tackett, do you want to answer that first?
No, sir. My family hasn't really ever been like a big fisherman or hunting or doing none of that. We're just straight football.
Jess?
It's up. I mean, because this is my family, and what we are football crazy. And so hunting season,
time to fish, probably.
Hunting season comes along in a bad time for me because my family's always been so into football and engrossed with it. Fishing, we could probably fish a little more than we do, but again, we're just so eat up with football.
Well, I can catch chasing the bass that y'all don't catch.
But it's great fishing there. And hey, we love living in the area we do. It's a beautiful place. It's good people. And that lake's been great for our area, for growth and our economy. So we love Toledo Bend, man.
Y'all still have the Pine Dome Thanksgiving games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we used to have this we had this area across from my house. They call it the Pine Dome, surrounded by pine trees.
Come on.
Kids all across Manny would ride their bikes over. And we had games and schedules. I mean, we had referees. It was great stuff, man.
Yes.
But we
old school,
it's old school stuff. Yeah. So
sign off, your own risk.
That's right. That's how we grew up.
Look, we had those growing up. We had the yard. There was a vacant lot across the street where I grew up. My dad was a coach. My dad didn't care about whatever. He's like, look, y'all just go out there and just don't hit the concrete.
That's it.
But this was a hard, concreted field that nobody liked.
That's right.
And all 10 guys in the neighborhood would get together and it was just war.
Those are good times. And now
Wasn't that crazy back in the 80s?
Strange today. We have all these things that are our hand, smartphones and stuff. So you don't see kids doing that, know. But back in the day, man, that's what we did.
You get tackled on. Remember, you get tackled on a pothole that was dry and hard.
Remember
those?
That's right. That's right. That's
you
right.
Get up, your shoes in half, and
you learn to play football the right way.
Yeah, toughness, man.
So I got an even harder question for you than what he did. Put you on the spot.
What's that?
I think you've created. No coach ever does it by themselves. And you yourself would always admit that the players were a part of it, as well as your assistants and everything else. But so I don't want to say you single-handedly did something, but it's impressive, though, the culture that Manny has changed into since you've gotten there in the last, 10 years?
11 years now.
11 years now.
One of my 11th year, yeah.
Is there any, he asked you about certain coaches that in the beginning that started this passing the torch thing. Yeah. Any of your players from the beginning that just really helped you nail the culture and get that culture rolling? Because you got little junior high kids that just can't wait to put pads on now.
Absolutely. And I think you start talking about players, I just think everybody's got a part in that. I want to give a shout out to Keith Menard. He's an Assumption now. Yeah. He hired me at Manny. He gave me my opportunity and made me a DC my second year with him and really put me on a fast track to where I am now. But Keith Menard did such a great job. When he got there, Manny was a doormat. Again, it's kind of a feaster had left, and we've fallen on hard times. And you can lose your culture so quick. Yeah. And he just did a great job of coming in with DJ Palmers and Nick Jacobs and those guys that bought in and kind of really started to get Manny going again.
Nick was good.
And then, he was. And then Keith left, and I was able to come in and just have kids fall behind. And there's just a laundry list of kids that just continue to do things the right way. And that's really all it is. Community buy-in, great coaches. I mean, I have very little turnover. My coaching staff they're my best friends too. And people say, you can't do that. Well, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Because we get in there, we take all the eras together. They have my back, and it's just a loyal staff is a good staff. And so then you have great community buy-in with the fireworks, the tailgating, and it's just, the thing just grows. And you're right, it's a bunch of people all together, administration, starting off with Norman and now Moses, all these people just backing me, letting me do the things that I need to do to make us successful. And it's just a beautiful thing. Some places don't have a chance to do this because they're not all together. They're not all rowing together. They're not all doing the same thing. And so it's been a lot of people, a lot of great players. And I just, like I said, I'm blessed. I wake up every morning excited to go to work because I have great kids that are ready. This thing's been passed forward, and that's one of the best jobs in the state.
I want to mention this about Keith Menard. Keith listens to the show, but had a chance to visit with him before COVID at Central Lafourche, before he took the Assumption job. But he told me that the man that gave him the chance was Sonny Jackson.
That's right.
Who passed away this past weekend. A friend of mine who coached at Nichols, he said if it wasn't for Sonny getting him a scholarship at Nichols, he would have never probably got into coaching.
He loves Sonny. I talked to Keith a couple of days ago.
High school,
That's right. That's right.
Like Sonny did.
And he called me a couple of days ago talking about how Sonny had passed, and then Kenny Giott off that same staff passed, and I think there was another quarterback coach that passed recently as well.
Loma.
Yes. So those guys were all instrumental, and Keith was big in getting me going. I think every coach kind of has that person that gave him a shot, believed in them, and he put me on a fast track. And so I always give him an attaboy when I can. Keith's a good coach. He's a fiery coach. He's a great offensive mind. I'm a defensive guy, and he's made me a better coach.
My dad's the reason I'm in this, because my dad was a coach and he was a defensive guy. Just reek toughness all the time.
That's it.
He would have you in the yard at 6 throwing the football with a perfect spiral.
Yeah,
I didn't do it because he wanted me to. I like football. He's like, no, you didn't spin that ball right. Let me show you how to grip that ball. It all starts when you're young. And,
that's what's been put in us. My dad played at Louisiana Tech quarterback, and that's why I was a Steeler fan. Around Bradshaw time period.
Too. 4 Super Bowls with Terry.
That's it. But I think that's kind of the big thing. All how we're kind of raised. But again,
got to mention John Stallworth, Lynn Swan.
I'm huge.
Late Mike Webster.
You're talking about
Mean Joe Green.
Yeah,
L.C. Greenwood, Donnie Schill, Mel Blunt.
Yeah. I mean, I used to go. I'd go to Pittsburgh and watch a game once a year. That's how crazy I still am about the Steelers.
We need Terry to get on this show.
That's
man.
right. He was my hero growing up, Terry Bradshaw. Man, those were great times. Franco Harris, Lynn Swan, Stallworth, Donnie Shell, Rocky Blyer, Jack Ham.
Jack Lambert was my favorite.
Yeah. Mean Joe. I mean, there's, it's a great organization too. To
I will say this to whoever's listening: the greatest defense ever to this day was the Steel Curtain.
Absolutely.
For 10 years strong, 11 Hall of Famers.
That's it.
What defense had 11 Hall of Famers play for 10 years?
People talk about the 85 Bears, which was pretty dang good, but that Steeler defense was phenomenal.
But William and the Fridge and McMichael, they only played 5 years.
That's right. That team was so crazy. It blew up pretty quick. That's right.
5 years.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming out. I guess we'll all eat when this is over. Troy, thanks for allowing us to be at French Market Express in Natchitoches.
I thank y'all for coming. I enjoyed listening and being able to pitch in a little bit.
Yeah. I just want to tell you, Lee, appreciate all you've done. You've been doing this for years. Before I got into coaching, I used to always love buying your magazine and reading it. And, again, I have a lot of respect. I know it's a lot of work. And you get a lot of kids' names out there. And even that kid that's just a good player loves reading about himself in that magazine. So that's a good thing. We appreciate all you do.
I appreciate it because a lot of people don't even read magazines sometimes anymore.
Well, they're missing out.
I know, man. You got to get the newspaper. You got to read magazines, right?
That's it.
This is 25 years, and obviously you're going to be in it for Manny High School. You got 2 more years to be in the magazine.
Yes, sir.
And Manny's going to be covered pretty heavily. We're going to try and make sure to take the whole book. No, I'm just kidding. But it's going to be all 300 schools and 12 colleges and recruiting. And I'm actually going back to Baton Rouge today. We're going to finish. I'm writing LSU preview. I had to take 2 guys off because they left. That's every day.
That's it. That's what I know.
Whether you pull up USC's roster,
that's right.
That's what's amazing. The guy leaves.
That's right.
Starting, he leaves. It's like
that's it. It's crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
NIL. It's college football's changing.
We're going to take one more commercial break here. The Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. We're going to wrap it up with Lee talking to the Curtises as well as Troy about a lot of college topics. We got the name, image, likeness going on, expanded playoffs. What are some negative trends in college football right now? But we have one more segment. Stick around to finish it off with the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.
Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads & Care Tire Company located in Central. Call 331-8144. Family owned and operated. It's 1971. That's 331-8144.
Welcome back for our final segment of the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen. And there are a lot of great topics to talk about. I'm sure a lot of college football fans have already talked about these different topics so far, especially with the name, image, likeness coming up, and also talking about the expanded playoffs. I know that's been a popular topic right now. The college football season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. So that is very exciting to hear. We have media days all across college football. We're wrapping up trying to get the magazine printed as well for 25th year, which I'll talk about more after this final segment. But here it is, our last topics here to discuss, and that is Lee Brecheen alongside Coach Jess Curtis from Manny High School and his nephew, Tackett Curtis. Man, he's going to be a special football player. He already is a special football player now, but it's going to be crazy what he will be in the next 2 years. So here is to wrap it up, Lee Brecheen with Coach Curtis and Tackett Curtis.
Oh, I'm just not a fan of the portal.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not either.
Oh, speaking of this, before we go, I'm going to ask Troy and Coach. And Tackett, I guess you can even. Imaging, likeness, and all that stuff for college football.
Yeah.
Like it, don't like it?
I really don't like it, but I think things evolve, and this is, and like it or not, it's here to stay. I just think we're starting to kind of edge closer to it being more of a professional type deal. And I hate the opt-outs. I don't care. I don't like them. I've been vocal about it. I don't like the opt-outs. I hated them last year. People opting out mid-season. I just think you're going to start seeing more of that because of this, and I hope I'm wrong.
They got a high school running back in Houston, Jaden Blue, skipping his senior year.
That's not what it's about.
He's not even developed yet.
It's not what it's about, because this is the whole deal. This is a special time in his life. He's got 2 more years to be a high school football player, and then he's going to go on, but he's going to always have those great memories because he's playing with his childhood friends in his hometown.
Grandparents,
that's
community,
right. And then you're going to go to your university. That's going to be a special time.
It means something.
It means something. You ought to play your 3-4 years and enjoy that. Go to the Rose Bowl. Go to the Sugar Bowl. Go to the National Championship. And then if you're good enough, I just think too many times these kids worry about the next step and don't enjoy what they have in front of them.
David Feaster said it best on our show. He said the playoffs might have been the worst thing that ever happened. Because if you're not one of the 4 teams, kids go up, the other ones don't matter.
Go play in that Sugar Bowl. Go play in that Rose Bowl.
Independence Bowl in Shreveport.
Go play. Man, those are memories that you'll never get back. You're going to be an old man soon enough.
I remember growing up, the Orange Bowl, I couldn't wait for it to come on.
Absolutely.
And see Nebraska or Miami or Penn State in it.
And now you see a player opting out of it. It's just, again, I don't like it. I've been vocal about it.
What you think, Troy?
I completely agree with everything he just said, and I'll also add, as far as this likeness thing, there are certain schools that are around here, we know Grambling and Southern, and they're great football teams, but they're also noted for their band. Are you going to start paying the band members? Because that's what some of them fans are going to see, and that's where some of that money is
You're right about that.
Are you going to pay the band members? Because if you're going to pay the football player, this particular school's got people in the seats.
And half of those night shows like Jay Leno and Johnny Carson.
Yeah,
one of them either came from Grambling or Southern or the SWAC.
Exactly,
as the best musicians in the country.
So I don't like it. I'm with him. I don't agree with it. I like the pureness of the college football game, of college sports in general. On that same ticket, I loved playing NCAA football back in the day.
That's right.
Whenever they did have a likeness, I had Trendon Holiday. You couldn't catch it.
That's it.
I think the college coaches need to just get together, have a press conference, and say, this is what's important.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, just going around with these teams, there were some teams that really pitched it, because, again, it's really going to help some teams. It just really is. I'm not going to – but some of them really pitched it. I don't blame them. If I was in their place, I would too.
They have to.
That's right, because it's going to make some kids really decide. Everything's different. One thing makes Tackett decide, it's going to make another kid decide. And so I don't blame them. Don't fault them. It's here to stay, and if you're not doing it, well, then you're hurting yourself. So,
The one good thing I see in it is if a kid can make $20,000-$25,000 a year, you might not stay another year.
There's going to be some kids, the big time players are going to make.
If you're not a first round pick, stay another year.
Yeah.
If you're going to make almost 50, 60, 100,000.
Yeah.
LSU will have a gymnast making $1 million pretty soon.
Yeah.
No doubt. And you think, what would Tebow, what would Reggie Bush, what would Burrow, Johnny Manziel, what would those guys have made?
Tommy Frazier, Nebraska.
That's right. So, it's going to be different. Hey, it may be great. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out.
Vinny Testaverde, Jim Kelly. I mean, we just keep going on. Joe Montana. What would Joe Montana have made at Notre Dame?
That's right.
I mean, Penn State, Todd Blackledge. I'm not a big Blackledge fan as far as TV games, but
that's right.
I kind of go to sleep when he's doing them. We got our favorites, right?
That's right. That's right.
I watch all the games. I even watch up and around the West Coast, Idaho, which where your daughter went to school, right?
BYU, Idaho.
BYU, yeah. I even watch. Look, I'm a big BYU fan. If there would have been a 12-team playoff, BYU would have been in it last year.
They would have. And I think that's
ULL
coming.
of Lafayette would have been in it last year.
I think a 12-team playoffs coming. I think that's going to be here. I think that's going to happen.
I love it. Let's see if Troy can do it in a big game, or BYU, or Boise State, or Utah, or
Because Coastal Carolina's had a great year. Can they? And ULLs. Hop in there and see if they can.
Coastal Carolina's got the best quarterback in the country.
What's that team that beat Michigan with it starts with an A?
Appalachian State.
Appalachian State.
Yeah,
that still stings.
Yeah.
I was proud of Jim Harbaugh, though.
Yes,
But I'm like you. Jim Harbaugh
He does.
is misconfused.
He is.
He's brass with the media like a Belichick, and then they give him a bad rep.
That's it.
All he does is hide his stuff. He doesn't want to talk about it.
That's right.
He knows how to run it.
And he was a wonderful.
But he's got to beat the Buckeyes.
He's got to beat. And that's his deal. It's kind of like LSU. And LSU's been able to do that here a couple of years ago in the Natty run, a couple of years prior. But Bama kind of has their number. Usually.
And Kirby's got to beat Saban.
And Kirby's got to beat Saban. Those are those things.
Saban's cost Kirby 2 national championships. LSU cost him 1.
They have, and that's the thing. And those guys make a ton of money, and and they expect championships there.
One final question: top 3 college teams this year. My sleeper team's Miami Hurricanes. I got Miami beating Alabama in the first game of the season. Miami's legit. They got a freshman quarterback from California, Garcia, who was committed to Georgia. They got the little quarterback King back. They got 18 starters back. They look, you know what I like them, Jess? They look like the tough old Jimmy Johnson defenses.
Maybe so. They're going to have to prove it to me.
But Alabama usually starts with a bad Virginia Tech, a bad Wisconsin, a bad TCU.
I just think I think you're right. They've had some good pickups, but that's a tall order. Alabama off the bat. I think the best game early is going to be Clemson and Georgia. What a great! You talk about top 3 things. Well, both those teams should be in the top 3 starting the season. And they're going to go head to head.
Site, right?
Man, that's going to be a war.
Is that going to be in Texas?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure.
Dallas, is that going to be the Jerry Jones game?
It may be.
I don't know.
Then you look at another week 1 game. You got Penn State, Wisconsin. That's huge.
Coach is on top of this, man.
I'm a football junkie, man. I
love Wisconsin's toughness.
Yeah, I do too. We do too. I mean, that's why I was one of the first places we went. We loved. You got Jim Leonard up there.
Oh man, he was a great DB.
You remember Bobby Aprils? His son's the linebacker coach at Wisconsin, and so. That was a great visit there. I'm a football junkie, and
Wisconsin don't get the flashy guys, but they put them in the league
but
too.
Look what they put in the league: the T.J. Watts, and you look at in the Braun at the Saints. I mean, they do a great job, and they're not flashy, and they don't want to be. It's just so it's kind of cool.
They're similar to what you do.
Yeah, it's just cool to see everybody's kind of culture, and me as a football coach, a football junkie, I love it. I love to see how people stand on their culture, and I respect all of them.
I remember going to the LSU Wisconsin game in Texas. Did you go to that one, Troy?
Yeah,
that was in Lambeau, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, this was the one in Texas. This is the one before that. LSU beat them, but everybody said Fournette's going to run for 300 yards on Wisconsin. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. When Wisconsin puts 9 in the box, and you can't throw.
That's why I had T.J. Watt too.
Fournette did not get 100 yards.
Yeah, and that's when Brandon. I think Brandon Harris was the quarterback. That was kind of
Jim Leonard was on that team.
That's right.
That's how long ago it was.
And I do believe Alabama watched that game.
Right.
You talk about a Wisconsin team that goes to the Rose Bowl. It seems like every other year they're going to win the West and the Big Ten. And if they can beat Ohio State, they'll go to the college football playoff. If they don't, they'll go to the Rose Bowl.
And Oregon can't close.
That's the same year that Fournette only got 30 yards against Alabama, I believe.
And Oregon doesn't play physical ball. That's why I don't think they can close.
Yeah. That's they get tons of that speed and all. They've kind of them and USC are fighting for the best kids on the West Coast. So we've had a great time meeting these coaches and seeing. It's going to be fun now after we've met a lot of them to kind of watch the season and see how it plays out.
Well, I'm hungry.
What do you think about being called the Taysom Hill clone?
I'm excited about it. I'm ready to play some quarterback.
He went to BYU. You should.
Yes, sir.
You got to last the season, and know what hits to not take head
That's
on.
right. That's right. That's right.
Yes,
No
sir.
concussions. Use the sideline like Hill.
That's right.
I haven't
Yeah.
been as excited about watching football and watching Taysom Hill. Makes me feel like it used to be watching Jordan play basketball. He's just fun.
Troy's going to be
Yes,
at Hill's
sir.
first game.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, man.
He's going to skip his time over there in Idaho on his trips and be at your games.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's get something to eat. I appreciate everybody coming, and Troy, thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we wanted to thank Troy Henderson for really setting this up. Lee had himself a good time here in Natchitoches as always, and he wanted to thank Troy Henderson on his behalf, as well as Coach Curtis and his nephew Tackett. Great job, great interview. It was really interesting to hear that point of view from Tackett as far as his recruiting process goes, and I know he's kind of a mix between a safety and a linebacker and what colleges are recruiting him as what, so it was great to get that point of view from him and how he's approaching this process at such an early age, and you can tell he's really mature, and, Coach Curtis, he raised, him and his family have raised a really good man, a young man, and Tackett Curtis is going to be one of the top recruits we talk about next year, not only in the state, but the entire country as well. And Jess Curtis, in that Manny program, they've done an excellent job, and every single year they are pretty much at the top among us teams that are going to be mentioned in the Class 2A state championship run as far as teams that could hoist a trophy in the end. And of course, I want to appreciate Lee going out to Natchitoches and getting this interview and getting it done. And it was a lot of great content, a lot of great questions. We appreciate everybody that was involved with getting this interview done. And also, just to wrap this up, we have our 25th issue anniversary. This is 25 years for Lee Brecheen and producing this magazine, publishing this magazine. So it's going to be a very special addition to his heart and to his family as well for getting this done for the last 25 years. I've been a part of it for the last 5 years, so I've been very blessed and thankful for Lee and his family, Dolores and Carl, for allowing me to help them out. And we have some good interns as well. I want to give a shout out to Connor Shaw and Jay Parker. I mean, without them, we don't know where we'd be at right now. So we're getting the magazine done. We're in the final stages of trying to get it out. But yeah, this is our show for here today for the Sports Scouting Report podcast, Lee Brecheen. Also want to give a shout out for the NBA as well, as Milwaukee Bucks have won the NBA championship too. So it was great to see a team like the Bucks don't have a lot of star names besides Giannis Antetokounmpo. Great to see Drew Holiday win a championship after his time in New Orleans. So it was really refreshing to see, not one of these super teams win an NBA championship, and that's what makes it more special. But yeah, a lot to talk about. And of course, Manny High School is going to be in the magazine for Louisiana Football Magazine. We have 300 high schools covered. We have all the colleges covered, all the way from LSU to Louisiana College in the NAIA. And I mean, a lot of hard work put in into this year, and we're excited to get this magazine out. But go to lafootballmagazine.com. That is lafootballmagazine.com to pre-order your magazine issue and get your copy ready for the upcoming season. You can't go throughout a whole football season if you love Louisiana high school football when you love LSU or Tulane or UL or ULM. You can't go through the whole season without having your copy of Louisiana Football Magazine. I want to appreciate Lee for trusting me to do this show here today. But I want to thank Lee, Coach Curtis, Tackett, Troy Henderson for setting this up. So this for Lee Brecheen, this is Jace Lejeune filling in for Lee today. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we are looking forward to see all of y'all on Friday.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.